everyone. Audrey and Rebecca here from Inbox Academy, and we are going to dive a little bit into retainers, the power behind them, because Audrey, what's interesting is Audrey actually, you were not all for retainers for email marketing in the beginning of like your career, right? And your
Yeah.
mindset of that has shifted as well. And I just want to dive into that with you and kind of hear your perspective of retainers and kind of your route of how you gotten to where you are.
Yeah, yeah. So to kind of start off, I was not always an email marketer, right? I started off as a generalist copywriter.
Mhm.
And there's many different ways to specialize from there. There's many different formats that you can create your business with. And when I thought about it, I think this comes a little bit too from like the trauma of my 9 to 5, like trauma with a little t, right? But like
Mhm.
I had a come from a pretty toxic workplace and specifically a place that it was really, really difficult to use our paid time off. We, on paper, had great paid time off on our benefits, but to actually get it approved and be able to leave was really, really difficult. And that partially comes from the field. I was in animal caretaking. So, somebody has to be there every day to feed the animals.
Yeah.
But because of the structure of the work, um, they really didn't even try to make it easy for us to be able to use that time off that we were supposed to have.
Wasn't there even
So
I was gonna say, it wasn't there even a story that you shared with me once about, was it your sister's wedding? There was a specific time that you asked for time off, and
yeah, I asked for like a Friday off to go to a friend's
a
wedding. It was one
friend's
of my best
wedding.
friends.
Yeah.
One of my best friend's wedding. I asked off 6 months in advance. As soon as I got that invite, I was, asking for that Friday off. And my coworker had also asked for that Friday off, and they told us that we couldn't both have it. She had tickets to her favorite band, and it was like this standoff that we were, I mean, she immediately was like, obviously your friend's wedding is more important, but we were both very upset for each other
Yeah.
that they refused to, let us both have the day off when there were options to have other staff members
Mhm.
be able to take it. It was just
Yeah.
a real bummer. So I did get to go to the wedding, but it was at the expense of my friend, not getting to do her thing. So but yeah, so I was a little bit, and I had some other instances as well of like family visiting and asking for days
Mhm.
off and not getting it approved and having to work while my family was here visiting for a limited time and
That is the
things like
worst.
that. So
Like we both live in Maryland and we both have family out of state, right? That is
yeah,
the worst when like you don't get to live everyday life, with your family the way that people live in the same town or even within an hour, right? They can like
yeah.
meet up with family. You don't get that. We both don't get that. So with like your direct immediate family, so it's like to have them come visit and then you're like, bye, I gotta go to work. I'll see you
Yeah.
at dinner time. Like it sucks. It just really sucks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And my sister lived in Alaska, so for the 5 years that I worked that
oh,
job,
yeah.
I never went to visit her at all, and I had never been to see her in Alaska and see like the property that she bought and the house she's building and all this really cool
Mhm.
stuff.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I think I had a bit of like the extreme reaction to that of,
Mhm.
when I got into freelancing, part of what I loved about it was that I got to control my own schedule. And that was a freedom that I held on to with a death grip because I so badly wanted, to have that. And I loved it and was grateful for it, but almost like was overprotective of it.
Mhm.
And in my head, I thought retainers would take that away. That, a retainer meant that I was at the beck and call of a client and that I wouldn't be able to just take off for a few weeks and go traveling or go on vacation or whatever they wanted to do and that I'd be relinquishing some of that control of,
Yeah.
my schedule. And that was so important to me that I really tried to build my business without retainers. And I did eventually, I took on, some small retainers and things, but I was really trying to build it with more what we call one-off projects, right?
Mhm.
Like a project with a start date and an end date, and you deliver the work, and then, yeah, you might work with that client again in the future, but there's no ongoing existing retainer like that. So, and I had success with that, but it wasn't as fulfilling or easy as I like thought it would be. Is that you're always kind of working for the next project, always pitching new projects, always finding new clients. I did have a lot of repeat clients, so you're not always in that, but
Mhm.
it definitely didn't feel as free as I thought it would.
Yeah.
And during that time, I did have one client that had turned into a small retainer that um, built up, and it built up, and it kind of just kept getting bigger and bigger. And eventually it became a big enough retainer to actually like cover all of my basic expenses. And I no longer had to pitch new projects every month, if I didn't want to. It was
So,
like, oh, I can just do this work, and I'm fine. I can pay all my bills. And that really lifted such a weight off my
mhm.
shoulders.
Mhm.
It was like, oh, all of a sudden, and the work didn't take as long as I thought it would. I think in my head I thought to have a retainer that was big enough to support my rent and my bills and things like that, that it would be all consuming of my time. And that really wasn't the case. Especially with a retainer, you get more efficient at
Mhm.
working for that specific client, writing in their voice. You build templates within your email marketing provider, and you can, just doing small tweaks to those templates and things, like you build up the photos that you would use, like all of the little things that go into creating an email. It gets easier and easier to speed up how fast you can get that work done.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
you
that was really
so
eye-opening.
you slowly, without even realizing it, became a retainer girl.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's essentially what happened. And I did find that it really didn't impede my travel. That's always been a big thing to me. I love traveling, and my partner is a school teacher, so he gets summers off.
um,
And I knew that I would want to be able to, go on adventures with him in the summer. And we do, we'll pack up and go for a road trip and things like that. And we have two big dogs. We love to, go camping and things like that. And yeah, I found that with the retainers, I mean, I've gone so far as like if we just have an impromptu trip and I didn't even have time to plan ahead for it and work ahead for it, which is typically what I will do when I travel, is with a retainer, you can predict the work. So it's easy to work ahead, and then I'm totally free when I'm traveling. But we've had impromptu trips where we hop in the car and we've got a 3-hour drive, and I throw on my hotspot and get 3 hours of work done
yeah,
in the car. And then we get there and I'm good. I'm like ready to go.
I love
Or,
that.
we've had times too where it's like, yeah, maybe I'm up an hour before breakfast and knock out an hour of work, but then I can go and do whatever we had planned for the day.
Mm.
And yeah, it's just been really incredible to be able to have that freedom
Last,
and still make all of the income that I expected that
yeah.
month.
And I was gonna say like last minute, like you have the ability to be spontaneous, right? Like, but like it doesn't have to be this adventure. It can be like what the other day we were talking and you wanted to take your friend out for lunch on her birthday, but you
Yeah.
were still waiting to hear back whether or not she wanted to do it. And, she could get back to you like an hour before lunch and you'd be able to still go out and meet her for lunch. Like it doesn't, I think that's the thing with retainers, people don't really quite understand is like, when you talk about the same like work and it's predictable so you can plan ahead, like a retainer doesn't mean what you thought in the beginning, like you have to be at their beck and call, you have to answer every email within minutes and do whatever random requests they throw your way. Like no, it's like an actual contract, and you have a specific amount of emails you're doing and specific tasks you're doing, and as long as you execute those and they're done throughout the month by agreed on timelines, it maybe once a month meeting or something like that is when you
Mhm.
kind of and not to say emails won't come your way, but you are still the business owner. You're not expected in like, 15 minutes you're replying and you're just their employee. There's just a different mindset there. Yeah. So I don't think people understand. A lot of people, I think feel the way that you felt when you first thought about retainers of like, oh, I do not want to have to be tied down to like
Yes.
one client constantly. But then when you realize like, holy crap, this is like I can go away for the weekend or go do whatever I want all summer with my partners. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and I definitely had a little bit of that employee mindset when
Yeah.
I went into it because that's what I had experience with. Of course, you're going to have that mindset a little bit, and it took some work to really step into my business owner shoes and remember that this is a partnership with my client. We're helping each other. It's a collaboration. It's not, I'm providing them a valuable service and I'm part of my own business. So
Mm,
how I structure my business and stuff, they can choose to walk away if they don't like it, but that's not the case ever.
yeah.
Um, but being able to just step into that and say, hey, client, I'm going to be out of office for a week in June. Your work is all going to get done. Just letting you know that I won't be replying to emails or scheduling meetings during
Mhm.
that time. That kind of thing. It's so easy now, but I definitely was intimidated to do that at the start. And I think
Yeah.
um, people don't realize how open to that clients are. And also, if they're not open to that's probably a red flag client.
Seriously.
There are better clients out there. You might
Mhm.
want to look into some other options.
Yeah. Yeah. And you like again, you built trust, right? And most of the time when you have a client and you are jumping into the back end, you're doing like a full service email marketing retainer. They kind of are like this mindset of like, oh, sure, go do what you want. Like, we're grateful for when you get back and can do because they don't understand it. They don't want to rehire someone to relearn everything that you've already done. And like, it's kind of like one of those jobs that like once you're in it, you just become more and more and more and more and more valuable the longer you're doing a retainer for a client, working the back end. So yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely gives you that ability to kind of call the shots sometimes. Hmm.
Yeah.
So I want to hear a
Um,
little bit more about your travels, and I think everybody else does too, because you are the queen of travel. You have had so much, like, so many cool opportunities just since I've known you. So,
Yeah, I know which one in particular you're excited to chat about. So I have had the incredible opportunity that this door was open to me through freelancing, to go to Bali because I actually have a client based in Bali, and we had been working together. It was one of those relationships that really grew over time. So it started with actually just a one and done project that then rolled into, oh, hey, can you maybe write some of these weekly newsletters for us? And then eventually taking over the back end. But kind of like your story, Rebecca, I started off just writing copy for them and then ended up, you know, building into that role of taking over the back end,
mm,
and doing more and more. And so as that relationship grew over 2 years, also stepping into the role of, really being an email strategist as well. And that kind of leans into, all of marketing strategy and what content we're putting out and why and how that builds through the whole year. And so they ended up inviting me every year in the fall. They get together with the marketing team and they kind of have these visionary days where they're really looking at what do we want to build over the course of the whole next year and how is that going to get separated into content and brainstorming the big ideas and then actually being able to implement that throughout the year. And so they ended up approaching me and saying they really wanted me to be at that meeting with them. um,
cool.
and yeah, it was really incredible. So that was 2 years ago and they've been inviting me back ever since. So this year will be my third trip to Bali,
And this
as
time
a
you're gonna,
work trip.
I was gonna say this time you're taking your mother, right? You
This time
guys,
I'm taking my
yeah,
mom.
that's
Yeah,
super
my
cool.
partner came with me the first time. I had a friend that actually joined me last year, and this year I'm going with my mom. So it's
Oh,
been an incredible experience of getting to like share this journey with others as well
mm,
that are in my life.
yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
I never dreamed. I knew that freelancing would open the door to being able to go travel on my own.
Mhm.
Um, but I never dreamed that I would actually incorporate travel in my work and that it would be like work-related trips
Or
that
that
are,
the client that turned you into a retainer lover is also the client that brings you and whisks you away off to Bali every year. Like, are you freaking kidding me? That's like a freelancer's dream right there.
yeah.
It was like your first official retainer client that turned into that. And then now you have this relationship of going to Bali every year and like meeting with these other, you shared with me like these incredible other minds, like you guys sitting
Yeah.
together and collaborating and making friendships and like, but just it's also like they're just brings so much to the table to like sit there and hear all their perspective. Like you grow in your marketing career, right? By the time you leave
Yes.
this trip, like you come back refreshed and new ideas. And I just love it.
Yeah.
It's like, again, it's like every freelancer's dream. Like, get me a client,
Yeah.
take me to Bali every year.
I know, I never ever dreamed it would turn into
Yeah.
that, but it's been incredible to have that and to really feel like even though I am my own business owner and I still get to run my business like my business, I do still feel like a part of their team.
Mm.
And that's a really incredible feeling too, because I have relationships and friendships with, not only the business owner, but other people on that marketing team. And yeah, getting to go to Bali and go out to dinner with them and things like that has just been a dream
I
come true.
I love that you point out the team aspect because I don't think I experienced that with every one of my retainers. Even the white labeling, I white label for two companies, and for anybody that doesn't know, that just means an agency that is providing services directly to the client will reach out to me, and I am kind of their acting email marketer, and I'll jump into projects and help them execute them. So, but even them, like even if I'm not working with the client, I still feel like part of the agency's team, right? And I've never felt that on a one-off project. Even for recurring clients, I've never felt like part of the team. And I don't know, like it definitely gives more fulfillment in your
Yeah.
work when you feel like you have kind of that like work family as well.
And it takes some of the loneliness out of
Yeah,
freelancing, I think, which I,
a good point.
we love the freedom, but there's definitely that aspect to
Mhm.
freelancing when you're working at home, usually alone, on your computer all day. And there's, of course, many ways you can build community, but that's one of
Yeah.
them, and it's really special when it happens.
Yeah, agree 100%. So what are some other trips you've taken this year or the last few years?
Yeah, actually, the last 2 years I've been joining the Biz Besties. That's also been a work trip. So,
Mhm.
the Biz Besties is a group that put on by Kristen McIntyre and Katie Boyce, and they are just incredible copywriters and community builders. And they've built this community of freelancers, and we get together. It's kind of like a mastermind. So working, on what we're building our businesses towards. And that has been in Mexico every January now that
And
I
that is
do.
not an exclusive group. So if anybody here is a freelancer and wants to learn more about it, we'll make sure we throw their link to their Instagram page in the comment section if you want to go explore that as well and check that out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's incredible. And then yeah, I went up to finally visit my sister in Alaska. That was
Finally.
an Yeah, finally. That was overdue. And it was just an incredible trip. Yeah, we went like, fishing in the bay and
Oh,
did some hikes and tide pooling and all kinds of stuff while we were up there, whale watching and all of
so
that.
cool.
So,
Yeah. You
yeah.
finally got to see her property and like experience everything you wish you would have gotten to do when you were a zookeeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you've also taken some international trips since you've been a
Yeah.
freelancer.
Yeah, last year, year before last, I did my dream vacation to Ireland. I took my whole family and my new husband and my two teenagers at the time, and we went and literally like rented a car and drove around the entire island and explored. We went into Northern Ireland. It was like 2.5 weeks, and it was like just heaven on earth for me. I just loved it so much. And then last year we went to Italy and we flew into Rome and we spent a week doing all the touristy stuff. And then we spent like a week and a half just on the Amalfi Coast, which we rented like this gorgeous, I was 7 months pregnant when we took this trip, by the way. And we rented this gorgeous house like on the coast that was like 300 something steps up. And I'm like waddling up there, super pregnant, but I freaking did it. Um, I mean, I was just telling the kids the other day, my favorite memory of any vacation was sitting out on the terrace, eating a big ricotta croissant pastry thing from a local bakery, and falling asleep on the couch out there and taking a nap in the sun and like waking up to like you hear the ocean and everything like or the Mediterranean, right? Like you hear the waves and everything and I'm like this is the perfect like memory. Like this is what it's all about. Like right here, you know?
Yeah, and I just think it's so incredible, like all of those experiences happening without taking a dip in income, right? With the
Mhm.
power of retainers. So,
Yeah, I did exactly what you do for your trips. I just like worked ahead a little bit, told my clients like, "Hey, I'm taking a vacation for 2 weeks and, with the time change and the vacation aspect, like can't take any meetings and you got to give me at least like 48 hours to respond to an email if it's like an emergency, like something or whatever that I have to like take care of for you." And they were just like, "Have a great time, send pictures," you know what I
yeah.
mean? But we loved, you and I both, we love to travel. And I can't imagine being able to do any of what we do. Even like your quick trips home, you have family in Tennessee, I have family in Ohio. Like, we never have to limit the amount of times we go see family and visit them.
Yes.
It's not
And
like, oh,
that's been
mom,
such a blessing too that
yeah.
I have to drive down 81, and anybody who knows 81 knows what a nightmare it is, especially on any like normal travel days and weekends and things. So being able to drive down on like a Friday morning when nobody else is on the road is so amazing. That's like one of those little things that I'm so grateful for
Yeah.
that I can just like take off and go.
Yeah. So retainers equals traveling, not having to ask for time off, and you're probably gonna love that you have a retainer when you finally get one, and you actually get to experience the freedom for yourself. Um,
Yeah, and if you guys want tips on how to get retainers and, run an email marketing retainer, definitely go ahead and grab our freebie. We'll link it in the comments. It's called the Abundant and Balanced Freelancer. And yeah, definitely sign up for that. It's totally free. And we will see you guys in the next one.
yeah, don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Bye, guys.
All right, bye.